everybody. Hope you have all been really well today. It is sunny outside here. Hope it is the same for you. And I am looking forward to getting into another day of reading. So, Rich Dad, Poor Dad in Chinese, we are not going to read because most of you don't speak Chinese, I would say. But we are still reading The Art of Thinking Clearly. And yesterday I noticed on the back when I was holding it up, The Secret of Perfect Decision Making. I don't know about that, but a lot of these will get you thinking about how you can do things differently and where we fall into traps sometimes. And good morning to Cody and a couple of other people that are sending messages on Pigo. Here we go. Good morning. Good morning. Ha. Okay. So we're up to chapter 39. Congratulations. You've won Russian roulette. It's a bit of a strange chapter title. And it's called Alternative Paths, which is something that I've always been fascinated by. Okay. Who is ready for some reading? You arranged to meet with a Russian oligarch in a forest just outside your city. He arrived shortly after you, carrying a suitcase and a gun. It's a bit of a worrying start. Placing the suitcase on the hood of his car, he opens it so you can see it is filled to the brim with stacks of money. $10 million in total. Want to play Russian roulette? He asks. Pull the trigger once and all this is yours. The revolver contains a single bullet. The other 5 chambers are empty. You consider your options. 10 million would change your life. You would never have to work again. You could finally move from collecting stamps to collecting sports cars. You accept the challenge. Wow, we're heading down dangerous territory. You put the revolver to your temple and squeeze the trigger. You hear a faint click and feel adrenaline flood through your body. Nothing happens. The chamber was empty. You have survived. You take the money, move to the most beautiful city you know, and upset the locals by building a luxurious villa there. One of these neighbors, whose home now stands in the shadow of yours, is a prominent lawyer. He works 12 hours a day, 300 days a year. His rates are impressive, but not unusual, $500 per hour. Each year he can put aside $500,000 net after taxes and living expenses. From time to time you wave to him from your driveway, laughing on the inside. He will have to work for 20 years to catch up with you. I'm already fascinated by this chapter because my partner wanted to watch Squid Game. So we watched Squid Game, and I've seen a couple of these kinds of shows, and very often you get started with something like this. Nobody wants to give you $10 million just for one go at it. They're going to want you to keep playing. And so it's important to realize that this is a very, very fictitious kind of scenario. Don't go out there playing Russian roulette in order to be able to get your $10 million. Suppose that after 20 years, your hardworking neighbor has saved up $10 million. A journalist comes along one day and puts together a piece on the more affluent residents in the area, complete with photos of the magnificent buildings and the beautiful second wives that you and your neighbor have accrued. He comments on the interior design and the exquisite landscaping. However, the crucial difference between the two of you remains hidden from view, the risk that lurks behind each of the $10 million. For this, he would need to recognize the alternate paths. But not only journalists are underachievers at this skill, we all are, as Nassim Taleb makes clear with the Russian roulette vignettes. Alternate paths are all the outcomes that could have happened but did not. With the game of Russian roulette, 4 alternative paths would have led to the same result, winning the 10 million. The 5th alternative to your death. A huge difference. Bit of a difference, yes. In the case of the lawyer, the possible paths lie much more close together. In a village, he would have earned perhaps just $200 per hour. In the heart of New York, working for one of the major investment banks, maybe it would have been $600 per hour. But unlike you, he risked no alternative path. That would have cost him his fortune or his life. Alternate paths are invisible, so we contemplate them very rarely. Those who speculate on junk bonds, options, and credit default swaps, thus making millions, should never forget that they flirt with many alternative paths that lead straight to ruin. To a rational mind, $10 million that comes through a huge risk is worth less than the same sum earned by years of drudgery. An accountant might disagree, though. And also, if you suddenly win the lottery, you haven't learned the skills to be able to hold on to and invest this money properly. So you're not going to be able to probably maintain that, and you'll never end up in that magazine. That alternate path is not one that you can very easily be able to create or recreate or keep. So it's very interesting to be able to think about the way in which you achieve something can also have consequences for what happens with that in your future. In Fooled by Randomness, Taleb recounts how he had dinner with a friend in a bar in New York. We flipped a coin to see who was going to pay for the meal. I lost and paid. He was about to thank me when he abruptly stopped and said that he paid for half of it probabilistically. The friend was considering alternative paths. In conclusion, risk is not directly visible. Therefore, always consider what the alternative paths are. Success that comes through risky dealings is to a rational mind of less worth than success achieved the boring way, for example, with laborious work as a lawyer, a dentist, a ski instructor, a pilot, a hairdresser, or a consultant. Yes, looking at alternate paths from the outside is a difficult task. Looking at them from the inside is an almost impossible task. Your brain will do everything to convince you that your success is warranted, no matter how risky your dealings are, and will obscure any thought of paths other than the one you are on. Wow, what an interesting chapter that one is. So it's really interesting, and I'm just going to quickly reply to a couple of people and say thank you for the love hearts and different other things that people have been sending. And Jason, I'm happy to be friends. I've just sent through a follow request as well. So in our life, there are things that we do that we feel are okay. And there are things that we do that we feel are not okay. And for some people, that line can be a bit blurred. So if you win the lottery, some people will think that they deserve those millions of dollars, but are they able to keep those millions, and are they able to then start investing wisely in order to be able to still have millions of dollars further down the line? Or are they going to lose everything? And so it's really important to have a think about, how do I feel about the things that I'm doing? How okay am I with the risks of what it is that I'm doing? And what are the alternate paths? What other different scenarios, what other different possibilities are there that could have led to a different result? And Mladen on Zoom is saying, now you know why I'm not a quick starter. And I'm just going to open up the chat properly because I can't read the whole thing. Now you know why I'm not a quick starter. Unfortunately, finding an alternate path can lead to analysis paralysis. Yes, that is very true. So what would be the biggest conclusion from today's chapter is to really take a step back and have a think about, what am I comfortable with? What am I not comfortable with? And also, I think it's important to realize that if you're going to win the lottery, if you're going to, especially if you're going to play Russian roulette with some Russian mobster kind of person, I doubt that they're going to let you just play one game and then let you go. I doubt that if you make that $10 million that you'll be able to hold on to it and keep it. So it comes down to something that I talk about a lot when I'm running my cash flow games and when I'm teaching people about investing. And that is, you need to find what resonates well with you. I know people who will invest in real estate because other people tell them real estate is the thing. And then they invest in real estate, but they find out that they don't like real estate. They're not interested in it. And it doesn't go well because they're not flowing with it. There are people who think that the stock market's going to be the thing, but it's not their thing. What is it that resonates with you? What do you feel comfortable with? What do you feel that you enjoy? Once you can find that, that is the thing that is going to get you to where you want. And then you'll feel comfortable with it. So it's similar to this Russian roulette. You're probably not going to feel comfortable about how you made that money. And so you're not going to value it very well. You're not going to really feel that it's a great thing for you. And so you don't, it's like that meal that he was talking about. If we flip a coin for a meal, and if I end up winning, I don't feel that I actually deserve the meal. I probably don't enjoy the meal as much as if I was actually paying for it, rather than if I get it for free. So that is today's interesting chapter. I would love to hear, especially if you are watching the replay on Zoom, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. This is a really good one for us to have a bit of a chat about. And Mladen, thank you for your comment as well, and everybody on Bigo Live. So that was a very interesting chapter. And tomorrow we are up to chapter 40. I cannot believe that we have gotten through 40 chapters so far. Tomorrow's about false prophets. And this fits in very well with a book that Mladen recommended to me, which is called Fake by Robert Kiyosaki. So we'll see how similar this chapter is to Fake by Robert Kiyosaki, which is a really great book, which brings us a little bit back to what we were originally planning to do, which was the Rich Dad Poor Dad. So still Robert Kiyosaki. But we'll have a talk about false prophets tomorrow in chapter 40. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Don't go out and play any Russian roulette with any mobsters in order to be able to make your $10 million today. Just have a rational think about what you're going to feel comfortable with. That will get you to your goals. Thank you for joining for today's reading. This has been Reading with Menno, and I hope you have an amazing day. And yeah, look forward to hearing from you and seeing you again tomorrow.